I know you've talked about this on the Orange and Brown Talk podcast. Where do you think the Browns rank in the AFC? How big of a factor is, Deshaun Watson's health in that as well?
It's huge because you can't really make too many predictions until you know exactly how he's going to come back from this. Now, everyone that I talk to that's sort of on the inside of this, they all expect that Deshaun Watson is going to come back and be just absolutely fine and that the shoulder is not going to be a concern. But I don't think you can ever really make any promises about that. So I still think it is a little bit of a wait and see proposition and kind of see how it goes. Nobody thought last season that his shoulder was supposed to be an issue either, and it turned out to be one, and a very big one. So I think that has a lot to do with how this is going to go. If I would say the Browns, I would rank them probably second in the AFC North right now, overall as a football team, if Deshaun is as healthy as we expect him to be. And I would put them behind the Ravens just because, the Ravens, you have to give them their respect. And then, let's see how some of the changes in Cincinnati went and how Joe Burrow is coming off of his injury. But right now, I would probably put the Browns second.
So along those lines, this is since 2020. Browns in the AFC North, which has been the toughest division in football, 12-12, and you see 3-5 against the Ravens, 3-5 against the Steelers, which is a little bit of a head scratcher. 6-2 against the Bengals, and it just goes to prove there are some teams that match up really well against others, and when you see a team like the Bengals and the Steelers and the Ravens every year, the Browns seem to just match up against the Bengals, and for whatever reason, you look on paper, they should be able to they should have a better record against the Steelers, and for whatever reason, it hasn't translated.
Yeah, it is bizarre. Both of those things are absolutely bizarre. To see that they have the Bengals number, that they have Joe Burrow's number, it really is sort of mind-boggling. Even when he was going to AFC Championship games, there were the Browns just beating them like crazy all the time. It's hard to imagine. But like you said, it's a game of matchups, and that's how you build your team. In the AFC North, you really try. The Browns try to make sure that they are going to match up well against their opponents, and then you have to have an eye towards the playoffs too. So you have to know that you have to figure out what are you going to do with a Patrick Mahomes, and what are you going to be able to do with a Josh Allen and some of these other amazing quarterbacks in the AFC. But certainly, yeah, the Steelers thing is puzzling. It's because they have such a good defense year after year after year. But the thing about this record that you're mentioning here, most of it is not involving Deshaun Watson. So let's see how it goes over the next 3, 4, 5 years when Deshaun Watson is at the helm.
Yeah, that's fair. And that's the reason you go, again, the quarterback position is you look at it, you've got Lamar Jackson, you had Ben Roethlisberger forever with Pittsburgh, you have Joe Burrow. You better have a quarterback that you can give the ball to in the fourth quarter and say, go win the game. And they feel they have that in Deshaun Watson.
They do. And again, he hasn't played a full season since 2020, so he's got a lot to prove this year. But if he is that quarterback that put the team on his back in Baltimore last year, if he is that guy, then he's going to be tough to beat. And you just know that he's going to come back and try to be that player again and pick up where he left off with that sensational second half of that victory.